আসবে এসে রেকর্ডিংটা কমপ্লিট করে দিয়ে যাবে। Oh, it's a very good afternoon to the children of class 11 arts. Children, am I audible and visible to you? Okay. Thank you. So yesterday I have already started with the chapter on Constitution as the living document. Clear? And today I told you that one part is left, and that is the part on basic structure and evolution of the Constitution of India. Here you see on page number 211, there are 3 points which have been given, that what should be the limits, or what should be the rules upon which the Constitution of India can make change, Indian Constitution can be amended. You have heard the name of Keshavananda Bharati. Have you heard the name? I don't know whether you have heard it or not. Last week this person, he was, he had, pioneer to many cases which were filed in the Supreme Court of India, and last week only he had actually a sad demise of Keshavananda Bharati. He was like a stalwart. So after the Keshavananda Bharati case, what had happened, the Constitution has set limits that up till what are the basic things, or what are the basic features involved in the amendment procedure of the Indian Constitution. Here you see it has been mentioned that it has set specific limits to the Parliament's power to amend the Constitution. It says that no amendment can violate the basic structure of the Constitution. Yes, after the Keshavananda Bharati case, the decision which was given in that particular case, the decision which was actually given in that particular case, after that it is mentioned that the judiciary, it has given this rule, that it has given this decision that you can amend the Constitution of India, but the Parliament cannot amend the Constitution, because we know that the amendment procedure is always conducted by the Parliament and its two houses, because a bill for amendment is introduced in both the houses. After being passed from both the houses by 2/3 majority, then it goes to the President. So after the Keshavananda Bharati case, what had happened, the judiciary has given, the Supreme Court of India has given a decision that the Parliament can amend the Constitution, but it cannot amend to that extent where the actual structure of the Indian Constitution will be violated. You cannot change the basic structure of the Indian Constitution. Amendments can be there, you can make amendments, but that should not distort, or that should not change the original structure or original character of the Indian Constitution. Secondly, it allows the Parliament to amend any and all parts of the Constitution within the limits. Yes, this is again the second part, which is actually a continuation of the same decision which was given by the Supreme Court, that the Parliament can, if it wants, it can change, amend the entire law or part of that particular law, but while doing so, the parliament cannot change the entire structure of the Indian constitution. Any amendment which changes the character of the Indian constitution, that kind of amendment will not be entertained by the judiciary. Finally, it places the judiciary as the final authority in deciding if an amendment violates the basic structure and what constitution constitutes the basic structure. Yes, and as I have told you, after the Keshavananda Bharati case, it was mentioned that the parliament can amend the constitution, but the final decision will be lying with the judiciary, that is the Supreme Court, that yes, this kind of amendment will be allowed or not, whether this amendment is actually distorting the character of the Indian constitution or not. If it is not distorting, then it will be accepted. If it is doing so, then the judiciary, that is the Supreme Court, has clearly mentioned that that kind of amendment will not be entertained in the Indian constitution. And this particular ruling, it took place in the year 1973 under the Keshavananda Bharati case. Keshavananda Bharati case in the year 1973. However, after 1973, you will find that many amendments had been taken, but in all the cases, clear review has been done to see that whether any particular amendment is affecting the character of the Indian constitution and or not. Clear? So, and the last topic is constitution as a living document. Yes, we know, I have already discussed about this. That why is the Indian constitution known to be a living constitution, or you will get this answer more or less in that particular part which I have discussed yesterday, that why have there been so many amendments in the Indian constitution, and I have given you 3 reasons for it. Do you remember that what were the 3 reasons why I have given you that why so many amendments have been made to the Indian constitution? Do you remember? Firstly, I told you that most of the amendments which have been made to the Indian constitution, they are either technical or administrative in nature. Technical or administrative, that means like for example, the first one, as I have told you, that reservation for the minorities, this was actually of a technical or an administrative nature. Then judicial interpretation, that means the various decisions which were given by the Supreme Court from time to time, had also brought about changes in the Indian changes in the Indian constitution. Just now you have talked about one of the cases, that is one of the leading examples, which was the Keshavananda Bharati case. And thirdly, I have told you that because of the different political leadership which have come to power in India at several times, at different times. You know that India is a multi-party system. India has a multi-party system, and different political parties coming to power at different points of time. So whenever any party which has come to power, what it had tried to do, it had tried to twist or bend the constitution according to their own ideology or according to their own benefits. Clear? So it was because of these 3 reasons you will find that, and one more, yes, already done, already given, judicial interpretation. So it was for these reasons that we find that there have been so many amendments to the Indian constitution, and it is also the reason why the Indian constitution is known as the living document. Here you see the first point is given, contribution of the judiciary. Just now what I have told you, that what are the various interpretations which has been given by the Supreme Court from time to time. Next one is the majority of the political leadership. Yes, what I was talking about, the different political parties who have come to power at different times, As for example, you see reservation. The scope of reservation is increasing day by day, and this is being done by whom? This is being done by no one else, by the political parties, because you know that the political parties, what they do, you know, now in today's era, they play the role of a vote bank politics. Clear? So, in order to get more and more votes from particular groups or minority groups, what they are doing, you know, they are including new issues of reservation. Clear? So, for including new issues of reservation, what they are doing, they are also twisting and bending. What do you mean by this word? Twisting and bending. That means they are trying to mold up the constitution the way they like, so that they can get more of votes, more of benefits. Clear? So, this is the reason why the Indian constitution, though being a written and enacted constitution, or a constitution which is partly rigid in nature, even then you will find that Indian constitution is having many amendments, and because of these amendments we can say that yes, the Indian constitution is not a static constitution. It is not that, you know, in fact the constitution which was made in the year from 1946 onwards till 26th of November 1949, what was made during that time, and in today's time, that is in 2020, today's date, if you will find that the Indian constitution, it is not the same which you find so many years before. Clear? So many amendments had actually, you know, they have brought about so many changes. So, if you try to tally both the constitutions, you will find that so many changes had indeed taken place within that constitution, and this particular thing itself is a testimony to the fact that yes, the Indian constitution is actually a dynamic constitution. It is not static. That means it is not it did not stop at a particular place. Even after it came into force from 1950 onwards, you know, after that only the Indian constitution started getting amended whenever there was a problem. So, which suggests that the Indian constitution is truly dynamic. Dynamic means which has the ability to grow with the growth of time, and as it is dynamic, so it is also a living constitution. Living, that means it is not dead, it is living, it is changing with the changing situations. So, these are the parts which were included within the chapter as on constitution as a living document. So, let me give you some questions from this chapter. Right. Why is the Indian constitution known to be a mixture of, from mixture you write M capital and within double inverted quotes. This particular phrase you will have to write within double inverted quotes. Mixture of rigidity and flexibility. Rigidity R capital, flexibility F capital. Mixture of rigidity and flexibility. Clear? Close the double inverted commas, question mark, it will be for 4 marks. Next one. How can the Indian constitution be amended? It will be for 6 marks, dear. Why? Because as Indian constitution is a mixture of rigidity and flexibility. So, here you will first of all, yesterday I have showed, as I have discussed it on the board, using the board, that flexible parts how they are amended, that you will have to write, as well as the rigid parts how they are amended, that also you will have to mention. So, it will be for 6 marks. Next one. What have been what have been the contents of the amendments made to the Indian Constitution. This will be either for 5 marks or 6 marks, and the reasons which I have given you just now. Next one, which are regarded to be the most controversial amendments to the Indian Constitution. For 2 marks. That is 38th, 39th and the 42nd Amendment Act. Next one, when was the decision on the Keshavananda Bharti, Keshavananda then Bharti case given by the Supreme Court? This will be for 1 mark. Just now I have given you this answer. It was in the year 1973. Next one. What are the basic guidelines provided by the judiciary for the amendments of the Indian Constitution after the Keshavananda Bharti case? After the Keshavananda Bharti case. 4 marks. One more question I will give you today. It is, why is the Indian Constitution known as a living constitution? This will be either for 5 or for 6 marks. So, one more chapter will be left, that is philosophy of the Indian Constitution, and from this chapter, you know, I will give you some selected parts, because this is an extension of this chapter only. Clear? So, I will give you some certain selected parts and you will go through them only. Okay, thank you very much, children. I will complete this book and then only I will move to the other book.